My name is Pamela Smart. I've been incarcerated for 29 years of a life without parole sentence. I have been portrayed as Black Widow, Ice Princess, a killer, and none of those things could be further from the truth.
She was cast as the seductress turned murderous mastermind, caught in the middle of a media firestorm.
Guilty or not guilty of the offense charged?
Guilty.
Pamela Smart, convicted of conspiracy to murder her husband in 1991. At the young age of 23, sentenced to life in prison without parole for manipulating her teenage lover, Billy Flynn, into pulling the trigger.
This story had it all. A beautiful young woman, a seductress of a young teenage boy.
Now, nearly 3 decades into her prison sentence, she still maintains her innocence.
Did you mastermind the murder against your husband?
Absolutely not. No.
And argues that whether or not you believe she's guilty, her sentence of life without parole has robbed her of any chance at freedom, even as the admitted triggerman is no longer in prison.
I'm not asking the world to relitigate my case and to judge whether you think I'm innocent or guilty. I'm asking if this is the kind of justice that people want in America.
It all starts in Miami, Florida.
Mama said, "Don't worry about the weather."
Pamela is one of 3 children. Her mother, a homemaker, who took homemaking very seriously.
She was always there, and when we had a problem, we didn't have to wait till she came home from work because she was home.
Then her family moved to New Hampshire.
This is the American dream. A low crime rate. Then came time for college. Pam Smart decides to return to Florida, and she enrolls at FSU.
When I went to college, I worked 3 jobs, 52 hours a week, and graduated from college a year early.
My aspiration was to be a journalist and to be in the media.
I didn't go to college and go out partying. I worked all the time.
So you skipped adolescence.
I kind of skipped relationships. I had no boyfriend in college until I met my husband, and that was it.
Pamela Smart described that love in her first jailhouse interview with my colleague Diane Sawyer.
How did you meet Gregg Smart?
I met Gregg when I came home for Christmas during a break one year. Originally, I wasn't attracted to him, but I then became attracted to him.
What about him?
He was very outgoing and always smiling. He seemed fun to be around.
Their relationship heats up lightning fast.
Gregg and Pam got married on May 7th, 1989.
Pam Smart was decked out like Princess Diana.
I was only 21 years old when I got married. I was very much in love with my husband.
The couple moved back to New Hampshire. Pamela got a job with the public school system, and she became the media liaison among about a dozen public schools.
I had a very good job. I made a lot of money for myself.
But Pamela's happiness is short-lived.
In her first year of marriage, her husband had come home and talked to her about having an affair. And I think it crushed her deeply.
I was very much in love with my husband from the time he was my boyfriend through when he was my husband, and he had an affair. And when that happened, I was devastated. I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought that I wasn't good enough.
It obviously broke her heart and changed her, changed the marriage. That's the turning point in this story.
Then on May 1st, 1990, just a few days shy of their first wedding anniversary, everything changes.
Pamela is at a school board meeting. She gets home about 10 o'clock. She opens the front door, and in the vestibule is her husband. She starts banging on doors. Somebody called 911, hurry, hurry, my husband, my husband.
I was working as an investigative reporter in New Hampshire, and the scanner radio goes off, and we understand that a young man has been murdered inside his condominium.
He's got a bullet wound in the back of his head. This looks like a mob hit. This is an execution.
I'm still haunted every day by memories of what must have happened to him inside our house before he was killed.
It looks like Gregg must have walked into the middle of a botched, screwed up burglary.
We noticed that several things were moved. We found that the upstairs as well had been ransacked. The dressers had been gone through completely.
However, police find that Gregg still has his wallet. He still has a gold wedding band on his hand.
For the next 6 weeks, police chased down empty leads, but then a big break.
Suddenly out of the blue,
A man walks into the police station with a .38 caliber revolver.
and he says, "This is my gun, and I think it was used in the Gregg Smart murder case."
He tells police that his son's friend, a teenager by the name of Ralph Welch, told him that his gun may have been used to kill Gregg.
Tests show that that gun is the weapon that killed Gregg Smart.
That very same day, police bring in Ralph Welch for a videotaped interview.
Okay, it's June 10th, and it's 15:24 hours by my watch. I'm Detective Barry Cherowitz, and with me is Ralph Welch.
Welch tells the detective about a secret conversation he had with the son of the man who turned in the gun.
So then he told me the story, how it happened, who I was there.
He told you the story about what? About how, what
He
happened?
told me how they did it.
How they did what?
Killed Gregg Smart.
Welch says he learned that 3 high school boys, Billy Flynn, Pete Randall, and Vance, a.k.a. J.R. Latimer, went to Gregg Smart's house that night. Flynn and Randall went inside. Latimer and another boy, Raymond Fowler, supposedly waited in the getaway car.
So I went there, and they broke into the place. And they set it up to make it look like a burglary. And I guess the guy tried to run or something. They grabbed him. They threw his dog in the cellar. Pete said he held the guy's head while Bill shot him.
But what was the alleged motive?
This is just what they said from Pam.
And you're talking about Pam. Who's Pam?
The guy's husband, wife.
Okay, Pam Smart.
Detectives arrest all 4 boys and discover that 3 have a connection to Pam Smart. They attend the high school where she's working as a media coordinator.
I met Bill, who was kind of making me feel like I was the greatest thing on the earth.
He was charming.
He was, and I guess at that point I was so low that I needed that boost.
Police are then led to another student named Cecilia Pierce, Pam's intern at the high school. Their interview with her appears in a documentary on Discovery ID called Pamela Smart, an American murder mystery. She tells police that Billy and Pam were lovers.
They were friends, and then they were having an affair.
How did you find out about the affair?
Pam told me that she was in love with Bill. And obviously they didn't have sex because I worked it out.
Bill Flynn was a juvenile, just 16 years old.
You were technically an adult, and he was underage.
Absolutely.
That relationship seems predatory.
It was totally wrong.
You've had several bombshells in this case, but another one is about to explode. Cecilia reveals that she has heard the whole story, the conversations between Billy Flynn and Pam, and that she has heard that Pam wanted to get rid of Gregg.
We're going to conduct an audio surveillance of one Pamela Smart using a confidential informant.
They decide to ask Cecilia to get wired up, wear a taping device under her clothes.
Pretty much, they established that, yeah, you had Gregg killed. Why, though? Like, you know, because they can't think of any other reason why Bill and them would do it. Yeah, but even if I ask somebody to kill somebody, you have to be deranged to say, okay, I will.
She doesn't break into tears. She doesn't deny it. Nothing. That's very telling.
Let me tell you how out of whack I was, okay? The day before this, I had a lawyer, and he calls me up and he says, whatever you do, don't talk to her, because she's coming in and she's gonna be wired.
And yet, she still does.
Now you know you're gonna be on the witness stand, and they're just gonna put you on there, and I'm gonna say, did you know? And you're gonna say no. Did Pam do this? No. If you tell the truth, you are probably gonna be arrested. And even if you're not arrested, you're gonna have to go and you're gonna have to send Bill, you're gonna have to send Pete, you're gonna have to send JR, you're gonna have to send me to the slammer for the rest of our entire life. And unfortunately, that's the situation you're in.
My great brilliant idea that I had was that I was going to go in and have these conversations with her to make her feel like more comfortable so she could tell me whatever she was going to tell me. All I wanted to know was, did this guy really kill my husband?
Ultimately, the wire that Cecilia Pierce wore became the reason the police were able to go and arrest Pamela Smart.
Pam, did you have anything to do with your husband's murder?
Meanwhile, the boys are in police custody, refusing to cooperate. But when prosecutors threaten to try them as adults with possible life sentences, they start talking. And they point the finger directly at Pam, telling them she masterminded the entire thing.
How often would you talk to Pam about doing it?
She was bringing up almost every day. She said she hated him. She started yelling at me. She's saying, well, if you're never going to do this, I want to know right now.
Since the boys have turned, they have enough to take it to trial.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.